Hey guys, how's it going this week?
Yeah, Garrett, how's it going, man?
Not good.
Oh, wow.
Brother, not good.
That's a
You
heavy
want to talk
start.
about it? Are you all right?
Yeah, no, I mean it's good timing. Our heater we just replaced literally blew up the day after it was replaced, and it's a non-warranty element of it. So it's you have to move 3 combo racks and a power rack, rent a scissor lift, get the scissor lift here, get the company here. They go up, they take a piece of steel wool and just like clean it, and then it'll work. And it's like $3,000.
Oh,
And
man.
it's just like sick. Love this.
All right, so if you're
So
listening, go buy a bunch of EBT shirts so I can send Garrett
yeah,
some money.
please buy shirts so that I can have heat. Please.
You shouldn't need
Yeah,
heat
that
anymore.
was-
It's April.
Yeah, won't need heat
Last
for a
I
little bit,
checked,
maybe.
it was snowing in Canada today.
Good lord, it was a nightmare here.
Yeah, you guys
windy
got
as
you guys got
hell.
well no, you guys got dumped on though. You guys had
Yeah.
a hailstorm,
We had
thunderstorm, and a
dipping
snowstorm.
dots. Yeah, we got it was
Oh,
thunderstorming
no,
dipping
that
dots on
sounds
us this
terrible.
morning.
But also delicious.
Yeah, I mean it looked delicious for sure,
Yeah.
but it was
All
also
right,
very
well,
loud.
Welcome everybody to the Equipped Bruised Tired podcast. I'm here. I'm Bryce. This is. Say your,
Garrett?
say
Oh,
your, say your
I'm
hi
Ryan.
things.
Sorry, I didn't
That's
know.
okay.
I didn't know what we were doing there.
I got two other guys here with me. We're doing a podcast. It's a good time. Anyways, today we are going to talk to the one and only Mr. Shane C. Martin. I don't know why I know C is his middle
This is-
initial, but
I
that's
didn't know
his
that was
email
the-
address. So, Shane's pretty darn accomplished, both as a lifter and outside of lifting within the sport. Most recently, he just won the Bill Jamieson Award from Canada Powerlifting for lifetime achievement in the sport, and that's as a referee, Cat 1, 2, 3, whichever one is the best. I think
Cat
he
1,
has that
yeah.
one.
Cat
Yeah.
was it Cat 1 IPF, yeah.
But yeah, and has done pretty much everything inside and out of the sport. Was the CAMPL CPU president for a few years, and his lifting accolades are also pretty damn impressive. Competing since 2010 with 67 competitions under his belt. He's won the Equipped Bench Worlds in 2023, world champion there. Silver in 24 and 25, 15-time CAMPL national champion between raw and classic bench, and his best equipped bench was 370, which he did this year at nationals just about a month or two ago. So looking forward to having some chats with Shane. So enjoy the podcast. We're all very charming.
The don't waste food on our kitchen table.
Do not
Oh, from
waste
the
food.
calf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a lovely time.
That was a good trip. We should do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Does it have to be China?
No, I think Germany
have to be.
sounds nice. Maybe we like converge in like 29.
Maybe.
Nine.
That's the next one, yeah.
I
2029.
don't think it's really up to me at this point, but okay.
Sounds right.
I mean, we could just choose to go to Germany at any time. We have free will. We're adults.
It's true. I went there last year.
That's what they keep
we
saying.
can just go. Okay, where are we? Yeah, Ryan, I put the question that I got in there as well. I don't know if you got any other ones.
Let me go through that quickly.
I had just that one.
I had a few. Thank you for reminding me to look before we start recording.
I got you.
You should remind me to actually post that to try to collect questions.
We established no one messages you.
Probably because I don't post asking for questions. I think that might have something to do with why I don't get any questions.
I mean, I did tag
Yeah.
you in the post, so
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, you were tagged.
I mean, that's fair.
how you doing, Shane?
Oh, pretty good. Had the day off. Got some chiro. I like apparently sprained my intercostal on my right side
Oh,
on the second or the third attempt bench at Nats. So it's been
Oh,
hard to breathe for a little bit. So fun.
It only
I
hurts
normally
when
just
I
chalk
breathe.
that up to being fat.
I mean, that's all possible. I was 138 last week, man.
Oh,
Attaboy.
you walking meatball.
Attaboy.
Bad.
You
Breathing's hard
might
again.
win the weigh-in for the first time.
I got to get there first, man. Right now, I have mandatory body cam training the exact same day I'm supposed to bench in Poland. So,
Oh,
Oh,
trying to get out of
that's
that.
tricky.
well,
Yeah.
fingers crossed. Have you booked your flight and stuff yet?
No, I haven't done any of it.
Are
I
you?
got this training sent to me like a week after Nats. So I've been trying to talk with my sergeants to see if I can get it, but it's like province wide because of the Alberta provincial police thing. So
Oh, okay.
they're not really too keen on special
Yeah.
exits.
I was gonna say try and leverage the fact that it's already like booked, but if you haven't, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
You
I
can always
mean,
lie. Yeah.
that is always in fact an option. You could just not tell the truth. Again, free will. Okay. I have good lifts. I have open IPF. Yeah, I have all my stuff.
all right. So Shane, what we'll do is we'll end up doing our interview with you, and then we'll let you go, and then we'll record an intro afterwards, so that you're not awkwardly listening to us introduce you and sing
Talk
your
about how
praises.
cool
So
you are. Yeah.
yeah, it's just more.
Although maybe
less
that
awkward.
helps set the tone. I don't know if that helps you loosen up.
Oh, the ring light's dead.
Uh-oh.
All
Can you
right.
see his light source? Is that what you're seeing?
No, I just
Well,
maybe,
I have an open window, but I also have the ring light too.
yeah. No, he's just darker than he was a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming down to my level. And Garrett's light changes as he looks at different tabs. That's all I know.
Yeah,
Because he must have like a
that.
42-inch monitor in front of him or something.
It's 36.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh snap!
Well, sorry, I've got the Mac. It's like a 20. I think it's 27, whatever the biggest Mac was. And then there's a 36 where we have like the gym security camera stuff. So I just like pop back and forth between those screens usually. It's a bad habit.
Whatever the biggest one was, that's what I got.
Yeah, I got the biggest, so you know it's the bestest.
That's true.
That's how it works.
Okay, I'm going to start a download on everyone's computer. You're welcome.
It's hacking us again.
Yay.
I think this works. Hope I don't need it, but in case something happens with my recording on my end, I'll ask for that file from you. Just for your information, Shane. You should see a download I've started in your browser.
Yeah, I just did.
Okay. Cool. I think we're ready to roll. I'm recording on this side, so thanks for joining us, Shane. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a cool equipped venture. And quick introduction. Shane Martin has been competing in Canada Powerlifting, CPU, since 2010, I think. I met Shane probably shortly after he started lifting because he was only 4 hours away, and there used to be a good Saskatchewan Alberta collaboration called SCAB, and so we would
Really?
often travel out to Alberta, Calgary, or Medicine to do competitions, and they would come out here to compete. So I've known Shane for 16 years, I guess. So it's nice to have you on the podcast, Shane. And how's it going?
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Anytime I get to talk about equipped lifting is always a good day. So, yeah.
Awesome. So where can we start here, guys? Let's go with this is the question that I've actually had for you, and it was one of the questions that people ask me on Instagram as well. So I'm just gonna start there. You obviously train year round, but you famously, maybe infamously, only put your bench shirt on for a few sessions before competition, and it works quite well for you. At least it seems to. Talk us through the strategy there, the the reasons for that. If it's just availability of spotters, or if you think it keeps you healthier year round.
That's a fair question. I guess initially it's just logistically. Now, I moved to Medicine Hat a few years ago, and there just isn't enough spotters and some loaders that understand equipped enough to like safely give me liftoffs. So if I have to get a session, I'll go up to Calgary Barbell or Calgary and get a session in. So, but that's like a 5 hour round trip for me. So lately, that's the reason. Before that, I guess for context, since I've been lifting for 16 years, the first 9 years I was in kit every single week, like in my shirt once a week for about 9 years. So I got all of that technique and experience kind of front loaded in my like, equipped career. And I also stuck with one bench shirt for about 6 years as well, so I was very attuned to how it worked. So I didn't really need a lot of like reintroduction for technique or skill. It was mainly just for like CNS tolerance. So I guess kind of how I get around not training in my shirt very frequently would be I do lots of like heavy holds raw. So you're still getting the sense of the heavier load in your hand, but again, since like I can't really train equipped too consistently. That's kind of like the best bridge that I've found. And in general, I guess like the last 3 or 4 years, my goals have been more raw. Like I'm chasing the 600 raw right now. And when I hit the 800 bench in 2025, that was like already a pie in the sky goal. So being like officially in the 800s, my equipped kind of focus kind of shifted. But really, it's just kind of logistically. Like when I was in Edmonton, I was able to be in kit more frequently. Um, so I had more options to do more work, but nowadays, I'm honestly just kind of lazy. Like I know how to bench in a shirt at this point. Getting under the bar, everything has to be 800 plus, and like 800's heavy and kind of hurts my elbows a lot. So I try to like do the bare minimum dosage just to get used to it, and then get ready for comp. Like I know I'm probably leaving kilos on the platform because of like my skill practice isn't up to like perfection, but I'd say I'm still like 95% technically sound. So those extra training sessions may get me the extra 5%. And granted, 5% at this level would be me beating Garrett. So there's value in that for sure. But it's again, it goes back to like logistics and getting old. I really love like equipped competing. That is the best part of powerlifting by far. But equipped training for me kind of sucks. Like I just like it's hard to like mentally get into that mindset to like put up quality reps and training. Like I'm grateful for the CBB Saturdays because those are like those 2 sessions. Again, only 2 sessions in a
They were
year,
good
but
ones,
they were
man.
quality 2 sessions. And I think that definitely helped just being around people that like give a shit and like want to assist. So you kind of have to set yourself up to be okay. Well, I can't just lazily get to two board and just call it a day. So that definitely helped. But yeah, I guess the TLDR is it's logistically very difficult, and my goals have kind of migrated out to raw right now.
Yeah. Peer pressure then, right? We wanted to see a touch. We wanted to see Shane Martin touch something. So
I got squished once, but we got one in.
you had to put it up. Hell
That
yeah.
counts as a touch. It touched your
Exactly.
chest. No one said nothing about a press. Just got a touch.
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
So my follow up off
you,
that.
sorry,
Sorry,
go
no.
ahead,
After
man.
you, Riss.
You're good, man. You're good. Go.
My follow up was going to be: do you have a preference between the training for the two? But it sounds like you kind of answered that. Now, obviously, with Worlds coming up, you're on the reserves for Classic, but you are nominated for Equipped. So, is that bearing anything like the back of your mind as to like how the training's going? Like, are you planning to train more frequently in the shirt leading into Worlds, or has that played any role?
Not really. Like my best case scenario is if I can get 3 shirted sessions before meet, I think I'll hit a PR. If I can get 2 sessions, I can probably at least not bomb. So that's kind of like the minimum goal for training in that sense. But right now, I'm also kind of on the fence with work. Like I have a work obligation that I'm having a hard time getting out of. So equipped is still kind of a lower priority right now because I don't know if I'll even be able to go. So it's still kind of sitting on the back burner. What was the first part of the question? I kind of.
If there was a preference between the training for classic or training for equipped, but
Oh.
you kind of alluded to that in your disdain for training equipped.
Yeah, like I love equipped. It's just equipped right now is just, especially being the 800 plus, it's so demanding to get people present and like organized. So it's not like I can just every Wednesday I'll be in my shirt. Like I can get in a looser kit, but at this point I don't find any value in loose kit practice. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of stuck. And the way kind of how I've mitigated my lower frequency in equipped is do a lot of visualization. So like the prep for Nationals 2025, I had like a little mantra in my head. It's like, oh god, like to thrive, you must try. So it kind of rhymed with like 260 365, which was my goal was 260 raw and then 365 equipped. So I do kind of a lot of like the mental work. I'll sit in my basement gym on my bench and just kind of like close my eyes and visualize how I'm gonna run the bar, how I'm gonna touch it, how I'm gonna press it, how it's gonna feel in my hands. And like I really try to like emphasize a lot of the internal work because I don't have the access to the actual practical work. And I found that the visualization has helped like a ton overall in training as well. So I think that's kind of like an easy way to increase your like proprioception or your internal mechanisms is just visualizing a lot. That positive visualization too, like you're always visualizing a successful lift and you're always kind of reiterating exactly how you set up, how you touch, the commands and all that. So I've spent a lot more time these days, kind of I guess in my head more than like in the kit.
That's really cool, actually.
That's
There's been
super interesting.
some pretty definitive studies on benefits of imagery work and stuff like that.
Absolutely, I'm a big fan of the placebo. If anyone tells you
Hmm.
the placebo is a bad like modality, they're wrong.
Placebo's a hell
Placebo
of
is
a drug.
excellent.
It's been proven
Absolutely.
time and time again.
I thought you were
Yeah.
going to say that your mantra was "I can, I will, I can, I will." Little little
That's a
Kaz
good
That
one.
act
works
there.
too.
That's a good one. You mentioned early on something about like staying in the same shirt for 6 years. How, talk me through that a little bit, right? Like you have to imagine, especially at the weights you're using, at some point, like that shirt's got to be just like, boss, I'm tired, kind of, like it's just, how do you keep it going? Are you taking it in like every session, every other session, or is it just like just fits like a glove and does what it needs to do? I don't know.
Well, that shirt I had for 6 years, I started in it when I was like 99 kilos, and then I
Okay.
moved all the way up to about 33 before it blew out. Basically, like as I was slowly progressing in body weight, the shirt just always fit so well it kept producing PRs. I every time about 3 sessions before competition, I would take in the sleeves. So that old shirt I probably taken the sleeves like 10 times. So maybe the sleeves is probably a 45, and then the chest was definitely beat up. Like the reason why I really like that shirt too is it allowed me to open up super light. So like
Mm,
for example in 2017, 2018 westerns, excuse me, I opened up with 295 and then I jumped to 345 in the same shirt. Both the presses went well, and like that was kind of my style of equipped for a long time because that shirt allowed me to open really light but still get a lot of access to the top end. I think that was kind of because of the technical experience I had with that shirt. And then underneath, I was generally getting stronger raw too, which I know my raw base strength definitely allows me to not
hmm.
be in kit as much as like most people are. So that kind of like aided in that progress too. And I just really like the shirt. Like it just worked all the time. I tried so many shirts throughout those 6 years, and like none of them really clicked. I was also kind of a chicken to touch those tighter shirts, and like that purple shirt was just like a breeze. Like I knew I could touch it, and at the very least I could press it to like 3/4 of the way. And if I can't lock it out, then that's my own fault kind of thing. Uh, so yeah, like that shirt definitely got a ton of manipulation. Like by the end of the sleeves, I think had at least 7 or 8 lines like coming in, and then it kind of started getting a little like torqued because since it was taken in so much, like the cuffs were really small, but there was like a gap and a space by the armpit that kind of created an anchor point further down the sleeve, which also made my shirt blow out in Austin. But I mean, it had a good run at that point.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, again, just I think a glowing testament to the wonders and benefits of gaining weight while learning equipped or being equipped in general. I found the same thing going up from 105 to 120. It was just everything felt good. Everything got a little tighter every week. Put a little more weight on the bar every week, and it was just chef's kiss.
And how about going down from 120 to 105? Same thing.
I don't know. It's different. It's a lot of sewing. It's a lot of sewing.
A lot of lines in the kit.
Yep.
So you kind of allude to this a little bit, that you're not just strong in equipment, you're also strong raw with a best raw bench of 260.5. Do you think more equipped benchers should spend time building their raw lifting?
I'm a huge proponent of raw strength in equipped. My reasoning is like the weaker you are raw, there's a smaller margin of error you're going to have in kit. So the stronger your raw base is, then the bigger your margin of error can occur during the press. So if I have a kind of a crappy touch and it kind of bobbles down, I'm strong enough to like correct it and get it going again, rather than if I have a kind of a lighter, a weaker press, raw press, then those kind of issues in competition may be more like flared up. So I find that if I can really get my shoulders as strong as possible, then when a shitty touch or a bad handoff occurs, I'll be able to kind of correct it. So I always include, both for my athletes and then myself as well, a lot of like raw training, because the goal that I find too, especially with newer equipped lifters that aren't in super tight gear, is that if you just get your raw lifts up to 5 kilos, then all your kit stuff is at the very least feel easier and feel better, but you'll probably get more out of it because you're just going to be stronger. So when the suit and shirt is bullying you around, you're going to have like a stronger base to fight against it. So that's kind of my approach to equip these days. It's like I want you to get as strong as possible raw, and then like treat equip like skill practice. So we're doing singles, we're trying to get to depth, trying to get touches, and like the more experience you have in the full range of motion of the equipped work earlier on, then I think the better off you're going to be, because I find that there's some diminishing returns if we're just doing board work, or if we're like letting you like squat high or doing blocks on the deadlift. There's going to be some skill that's going to be kind of missed in those training sessions that could just be done if we just do a little bit like lighter weight. Like my big proponent is the lightest weight you can touch in training, you should just be doing that all the time. And like if you can master the skill of equipped bench, then come competition, you can load up the bar and you'll get bigger outcomes. Uh, so that's kind of like been my, I guess, principles for approaching it that way.
So touching
Yeah,
and
if
training,
anybody's
that's
ever
interesting.
handed off for Shane
That sounds
and
weird.
handed off for Garrett, you'll notice a very big difference in what that feels like to hand out, in that 360
Well, because I
range.
bench more.
No, handing out the same weight.
Yeah.
Okay,
Garrett's a bit of a handout princess.
I'm a little worse at raw bench. Noted.
You like a lot more assistance than handing out for Shane. Like again, I think it's all the raw work, and if you're doing heavy holds and stuff like that too, it's also in how you guys unrack. But yeah,
Well, Shane, you're
Yeah.
unlocking everything yourself all the time, right?
Yeah, I'm used to it. Like basically, if my handoff guy can give me like 50 to 80 kilos of effort, then I can kind of deal with the rest. Like I also kind of like a bad memory, not a bad memory. I had to like help Adam Ramsey in his bench warm-ups many years ago, and Adam Ramsey, excellent equip lifter, big fan, shout out, but he gives you zero when you unrack the bench. So like when I was helping him out, I was like, oh man, this is kind of a pain in the ass for the spotter. So that kind of sat in my mind, like, well, maybe give them a little bit, so like they can not be like rack pulling their PRs in the back warm up room. So that kind of always stuck in my head to like try a little harder on the unrack.
Well, I've
probably
always
favors you a little bit too. I think right? Like being able to adapt better to somebody giving more or less of a handoff, right? Like your bench ends up impacted less if you get less help out, right?
Definitely, because then like, at the very least, you're like setting your shoulders a little more before the actual bar leaves the rack. So then when if you have a bad hand up, you're already kind of prepared and you're a little more locked in to like address a bad hand off. And I mean, in general, worlds are the pretty good handoffs, but underneath worlds, it's you're rolling the dice. So you kind of got to get used to some bad handoffs and then kind of deal with it from there.
So what would you say? Do you have any like go-to raw movements you program for people, either for equipped, bench, or like, or all three lifts basically? Is there anything you'd really like to go to that you think carries over well for equipped?
Close grip and jam press. I like the whole. If you're going to approach raw training to like improve your equipped, then you don't really need to spend too much time on the chest. The shirt's helping you out at that point. And lockouts are always the slowest point, and close grip is such an easy variation of bench to implement everywhere, and you get such a big outcome from it, whether it's your raw or your equipped. Like especially with equipped, if you're gutting out those like slow couple last reps in close grip work, that's going to carry over so much to your lockout in equipped. And again, close grip just works for raw as well. And then JM press is so good for elbow development, and that's a big factor I think in equipped, especially as you get up with the heavier loads. You really need strong elbows. It's not about just developing your triceps or your arms. Like it's really focusing on the deep elbow bends so your elbows can tolerate those heavier loads. Because again, like you should be swinging at competition with weights you may not touch or deal with in training. So if you have those like if you have those stronger joints, then you can handle kind of bigger jumps and a little more margin of error. But yeah, JM press and close grip. I mean, those are pretty like standard movements, but I've seen like a lot of progress on my athletes.
I do all this strong elbow talk. I'm feeling very attacked, just so everybody knows. A little bit triggered, but I'll push through. So okay, I'm gonna go to JM press. Why JM press with the safety bar?
Oh, that like my coaches programs that for me, so we kind of cycle it out. I find the SSB, especially because I'm fat, like the prongs kind of like wedge into my gut, and then it kind of becomes a little bit of a lever. So like it works for me, and it's also just like an extra variation. So if you're gonna do like 12 weeks of straight bar JM press, at some point we're gonna run out of like runway with reps because we don't really want to do anything less than 6 reps. Ideally, that 10 to 12 is the sweet spot for that type of stuff. So you switch the bar and then kind of like progress back up.
I've done JM press a number of times, and I don't think I've ever done it correctly. Can you give myself and the listeners maybe like a couple of tips or like things people mess up most of the time in JM press? Because there's a ton of like there has been a ton of discussion about like the how much of a press is it versus how much is it a skull crusher kind of thing. What's your take on that?
Like I think how I jam press personally, it's probably a little more of a hybrid. Like I don't really have the really exaggerated like forward elbow. I'm kind of just further behind like a close grip position. But the I guess the goal is I would say is if you can feel a lot of the load and tension on your elbow, then that's a good position for you. Like really the whole point is to load your elbow more than your shoulder with the JM press. And if you're doing that and you're feeling it happening, then that's sufficient. Like it's especially with like a JM press as a movement, it's not close to comp lift, so we don't need to worry too much about like pauses or like strictness. As long as it's feeling good, and then at the end of like your JM sets, your triceps or your elbows are like pumped or like, a little bit inflamed, then you know you kind of like hit the right target. So like, because I've seen lots of like the super strict jam press with the elbows like really far back, and in theory, you can do that. You probably have to use a lot lighter load, and then at that point, you may not be getting enough of a training effect because the load has to be so light to keep that really strict form. But like as long as the bar is kind of like when it's coming to you, it's around like your shoulders or your chin. That's again like sufficient. But really, at the end of the day, as long as you're feeling all that, like more tension on your elbow than your shoulder, then you're kind of in the right position.
Yeah.
What about grip width? You going pretty wide? You taking bench grip? Are you pretty close grip? Like what's your
Oh, it's always close grip. Like, you kind of want your forearms to be stacked. Like if you're doing JM press with your comp bench, it's just becoming some really weird, like tricep extension with the delt kind of movement. I would never recommend that. But yeah, close grip or a little narrower than that. Again, the goal for the JM press is elbows and triceps, so we don't really care about like trying to recruit the pecs or other muscles. Like it's really trying to hammer those as the prime movers.
I do remember seeing an interview a million years ago with J.M. Blakely, who invented them, and that was basically what he said: is don't stress about it too much. As long as you feel it in your triceps, you're doing it fine.
yeah?
So yeah, I think Garrett's just highlighting question I was going to ask. Since you currently compete bench only, what do you do, or do you do any lower body training? Is there anything you think that helps carry over for your a bench?
My lower body training is pretty minimal. Like I squat and deadlift once a week, but it's like under 40% at this point for a couple sets. And then I do some glute, like isolation. I don't. I think as long as your lower body is like engaged, that's all you need. I don't think you need a lot of volume, especially if you're really isolating bench as your goal. You don't really want a lot of lower body volume. A lot of squats and a lot of deadlifts. Powerlifters know that shit tires you out. Like that's a real workout. Like I love bench, but like you can do a lot of bench and still be, you know, pretty recovered. You do a hard couple sets of 5 in the squats or like a heavy triple in pulls, like you're gassed for a couple days. So I think if you really want to take your bench seriously, you may have to kind of adjust your powerlifting goals. And for me, my powerlifting goals have kind of been completed. I got to go to Worlds a few times, got to total some cool things, but in reality, I was never like competitive enough to kind of edge up that like top 5. I was always hiding in the 8s and 7s in the 3 lift. But what was the
Yeah.
question again? Sorry.
No, that's good. I basically I was asking if there's anything you felt, any movements you thought were important to keep in to carry over for your bench.
Oh yeah. The close grip, the JM press, and then
Sorry, for
heavy holds.
for lower body.
For lower body. Sorry. Yeah. So I do SSB squat. That's really the only squats I do. As I've like built my upper back, my shoulder flexibility is nil now, so I can't even get into a lower bar or like a back squat position with a straight bar. So it's just the SSB enough to keep my legs big enough where, I mean, uh, optically I don't look like an upside down triangle. um, but then also for like for glutes, you want to increase your glute size. Like if you're a big bencher, you want to have a big dumper, so then there's more room and more like meat, so you don't get the dreaded ass off the lift. So like you can easily add in like leg curls, stiff leg dumbbell stuff, like any type of like glute kind of builder. That would probably be your best bang for your buck for lower body when it comes to like just bench only, because that's kind of the only part of the lower body that's going to be really technically problematic. Uh, I mean, you can wear like an extra large singlet, tuck that, pull down the singlet underneath the belt, pull up the sleeves, get some bagginess. You can wear like extra
That
large
sounds super
underwear.
dishonorable. I don't know who would be doing that. That's a wild idea.
I know the gray area, man.
I mean, I don't
So
think a
there's
diaper is illegal, so
Pardon?
I don't think a diaper is illegal. So
Diaper's not
it's
illegal.
it's not. I've
It's a
And
medical
I've
at this
checked.
point.
And the pro tip is if you wear the diaper backwards, there's actual additional padding so that your butt can be slightly
Wow.
higher if you were concerned about that.
Imagine having the additional tips on how to wear a diaper for benching.
Just
for
just
men.
throwing it out there if you were curious.
I'm losing a little bit of respect for equipped bench only, but
I mean, my lower body training is like 90% glute work, and then I do like 3 sets extensions, 3 sets leg curls, and I'm like, yeah, that's good enough. That'll do.
Yeah.
So I get it.
We can clip that and ship it for sure. If you want to be a big bencher, you got to have a big dumper. Shane Martin.
That is the quote of the episode right there.
Nicely done.
So outside of competing, you're currently the head coach for the Open Equip team in Canada. What's that been like?
It's been great. So it's been actually one of my biggest like bucket list goals in powerlifting was to head coach, or at least be a formal coach of the Equipped Open team. Again, like Equipped Open Worlds is undoubtedly the best, most exciting, and fucking coolest meet you'll ever have access to. Like, yes, Classic is great and it's expanding. It's very, very competitive and all that, but there's nothing like seeing a bunch of 1,000-pound squats IRL, and you can't really tell me otherwise. So as the equipped open coach, it is super cool. Like it rejuvenates my passion for powerlifting after every open worlds. Like I'll kind of like you get run down throughout the year with coaching, competing, and all that, and I get to go to open worlds and like, oh yeah, like this is just so cool. So it's been super exciting. Like in general, the Canadian team has seen. Was the women's side? We're very competitive. We've been fourth, fifth for team placing. We're one fourth, third place finish away from third overall for the women, which would be like gigantic for CanPL. The guys are growing, but we just have a smaller team for the guys. Usually the female side is full. On the men's side, you have like less than four, but that is growing, and it's good to see, especially with this nationals just now. We had a bunch of the OGs come out, and it was like a 6 session. We got lots of hype, and that's the coolest thing, especially just seeing the audience. Like I just watched the Rhea the Rhea Stint episode where you guys were talking about how our nationals are combined, and that's kind of a benefit to Equipped. And that was like I saw that like firsthand. Like selfishly, like when me and Gary were going at it, like that was actually a pretty cool moment. Like the whole audience was pumped. There were people like standing on chairs, and like there was like real hype. I was like, man, like I had no idea people care about that much. But it was, yeah, like that was sick. So I think that also gives a little more like notoriety to Equip. But no, in general, love it. Big fan. I like Canada's got a big future, especially on the women's side. We have a lot of strong men, but I find that a lot of the men that do well at nationals don't usually take the step to go to worlds. Maybe they're just don't like. I understand it's costly, and maybe you don't want to place like bottom 10. Like I get been there, I get it, but I think if we can push more men to just get to worlds, because once you get to worlds, you can ask anyone that's competed at worlds and equipped. Like it changes your mind, it changes your perspective, it changes your whole approach to the sport. You're like, oh, like this, like there's levels to this. Like this is something that's special. Plus, you talk with all the bros there, and everyone is just normal, which I think also allows you to shift your perspective. Like these people aren't rare. These people just gave a shit for a long, long time, and then that kind of like normalizes work. You know what? Like I can get to that level. I just got to keep on keeping on. And again, just back to big equipped benches and big equipped squats is just so cool. And once you kind of like get over the hump of like the technical issues early on, and you start to kind of feel those sick reps in training, it's like it really like gets you jazzed up. So like I'm pumped to have a position in Canada to kind of help kind of level it up and focus and just kind of bring Equip more to Canadians. But yeah, the team's doing really good. Like this will be my third year running it, and the first 2 years we've progressively improved as a whole unit as well. More successful attempts, more people coming, more polished technique, more cohesive team in general. Like it's starting to feel like a unit. Like we have an equipped team in Canada now, which like I'm sure Ryan can talk about this too. Like many years back, the equipped team would be, I mean, just be you and Rhea basically. There was many years like
Yes,
that.
that's true. Yeah, Norway in 2012, it was literally me and Rhea.
Yeah, so it's a big change. We're getting interest from all levels in Canada, and it's super cool. So I'm here for it.
Hell yeah.
Norway's
That's all I have
2013.
to say
Sorry.
about that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think what you said about worlds and how it changes your perspective is something that it's hard to explain to people. Um, but 100%, I think once you see it, once you experience it, and like you said, the people there are they're normal people. And I think one thing that Rhea kind of talked about last episode was just how she wouldn't be good now if she just started. She was just happened to be at a time when the sport was smaller, and then she's kept doing it for a very long time because you know uh, autism, I guess. But she obsessive compulsive. I'm not sure what it would really be, but stubbornness. Really, she's just stubborn. So I think that's a lot of what equipped is being very stubborn, and even any powerlifting, any sort of sport, you have to be stubborn to push through the pain, the discomfort, the setbacks, the injuries, and but I think there's so much technical stuff with equipped that can set you back mentally as well, not just physically. Uh, but yeah, I think it's great to see because there's a lot of years where it was either me and Rhea or me and Rhea and two other people, at Worlds, and they would fly in and fly out before we even lifted. So yeah, it's nice to see we're having teams of 10, 12 lifters going, and I expect even this year, I think, and hopefully you expect this year, we'll see even a bigger team going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping for 14. But one more point to the Worlds thing. Uh, I think one of the biggest opportunities you have at Worlds is being in the warm up room and watching all the other coaches. Like I've learned so much stuff from just passively watching like Chinese Taipei or Ukraine or Russia or even America. Like a lot of like the top liftier teams, you notice a lot of small nuances that aren't anywhere on the internet and you would never really be able to have access to them. So that opportunity, just as an athlete or a coach, you get to learn so much cool small things like how people put on suits and how tight, real little tight gear is. That's one thing I really learned when I first went to my Open Worlds in 2017. Is like you think you wear tight gear, but you don't. Like you don't wear tight gear. Like if you see like Ukraine or Chinese Taipei or even Norway squeezing in suits that like don't make sense, and then they go out and crush it. So uh,
What
that
about
was one thing
knee
too. Is
wraps,
like
Shane?
yeah. When Ukraine like wrapped my knees in my last warm up, and like I couldn't, I got 300 down like 3 inches. I'm like, man, like this is too tight. I'm too weak for this. But that again was a big perspective shift for me, especially with knee wraps. Like, oh shit, like again, there are levels to this. Like there are some tight wraps. People can get 9, 10 revs out of like sig golds. You're like, holy shit.
And I mean, it's pretty cool to be wrapped by two world champions.
Mm-hmm.
That was the highlight of that trip was like Oberts and Semenenko looking at poor Adrian wrapping my knees and just shaking their head and then like shuffle them off and then they grab my knee. They're like, we go. I'm like, all right. And then we went and then I like squatted. My last warm was incredibly high because it was like a third attempt knee wrap tightness, but it was super cool. I think they were friendly. Like that was such a cool little session too.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to jump back to really quick was just talking about the size of the team that's going from nationals, and getting a little bit into what Ryan was saying about, Rhea, like I wouldn't be good now if I started now. I think there is definitely some really cool opportunities if people are listening to this and thinking about trying to make that jump into, going to Worlds. Because the team is smaller, like there are more positions, there are more spots available on the Canadian national team going to Open Worlds, and it's still in a place where it seems like there's opportunity to grow and to fill up the team. So yeah, I would just like encourage anybody who's thinking about it or who is maybe there or has the opportunity, like just take that swing, right? And I'm sure Shane would echo the sentiment, but like getting more people to Worlds. And if you have the goal of trying to make it to Worlds, like Equip might be a good way.
Absolutely. Like the men's, we have lots of openings. So if you have a successful nationals, there's a very, very, very good chance that you can like hop on the team. And again, like if you really care and value about your equipped career, you want to get to Worlds. And if you can get to Worlds in equipped, like it's something you should seriously consider. Again, like ask any world competitor all around Canada, and they'll tell you that Worlds is different. Like it's a memory. It's like it's a core experience. And if you have that opportunity, you got to take it, especially early on. Like the main regrets I had early on in powerlifting was not going to Worlds. Like, well, I started in 2010, and then Junior Worlds was in Saskatchewan. I think 2011 or 20 yeah,
2011.
2011, and I was like, I could have went on the team, but I was too scared because I thought I was too weak, and that's when I regret because that year also had like tons of OG lifters in the junior sub juniors that like aged into like crazy open. So that would have been a special year as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I looked back at that competition because I have all the recordings. And yeah, like Semenenko competed there. Like some OGs like Marta from Norway competed there. CYC competed there. Like just some crazy,
Big
yeah,
names.
and didn't know like at the time really like, but yeah, lots of big names competed in 2011 Junior Worlds.
Sick.
So looking at this year's nationals and building off that a little bit, like you said, it was, we've seen a growth this year, and I'd say kind of the last couple of years. Have you had any discussions with some of the newer athletes about competing internationally, or like what that might look like? How do you feel about the overall growth of Equipped in Canada right now?
I think we're experiencing like another renaissance. Like the last few years, Equip seems to be taking off again. In terms of communication, yeah, like I did last year, I sent an email to all of the open class winners and just kind of introduced myself and explained like that they have an opportunity to go to Worlds because at least the experience I had last year with the athletes I communicate with, a lot of them didn't even know. So I think simply just kind of raising a little more awareness to the equipped lifters specifically definitely has helped. Um, and I think in general, with the advent of how competitive and deep classic is, I think it's kind of pushing some people that are in that like top six position to maybe look at equipped as another option to further their powerlifting careers. So I think we're kind of seeing a little bit more people kind of enter equipped through that avenue. But in general, grassroots wise, I've gotten four equipped lifters this year on my private coaching, which is like huge. So I think in general that there's just like an underswell of people interested in equipped. I think it helps with again out Canada doing cool things. Like Rhea does cool things at Worlds, Bryce does cool things, Garrett does cool things. So there are people that are doing cool things. That's not just like an average equipped lifter. Like I can see why some people would be disinterested in equipped if they just say, oh, like that guy squats 600 pounds while every raw guy squats 600 pounds. It's like fair, but if you kind of elevate your perspective of equipped and look at like the worlds or the internationals, then you're like, oh wow, like there really is like there's depth and there's kind of a whole different world kind of yeah through that. But yeah, I think it's just I think it's just growth because the CanPL is also experiencing another big wave of growth, and we're just seeing a lot more people uh, wanting to give it a try. I think it's cool. Yeah, I guess my one thing on that is don't buy a super Kitana low cut for your first shirt, please. You're gonna hate it, then you're gonna hate equipped, and then it's gonna see a domino effect. Like that's
And I think actually on that, we did a little kind of couple questions with Rhea about advice you would have for somebody just getting into Equipped, right? Obviously, one of the things we want to try to do with the podcast is spread the glorious word of equipped lifting. And I've only had a few experiences, but I have had experiences where somebody tries a bench shirt and they're like, "Oh, that didn't feel like a slingshot. I'm never doing this again." You know. So what sort of advice, or if you had like 3 tips or something like that for somebody who's maybe equipped curious or is like about to take their first steps into kit, what are your top pieces of advice for that?
I guess my first piece of advice is whatever your favorite lift is, start an equipment with that lift.
That's a
Because
good
if,
point.
if you're already engaged and like that lift, you're gonna have a wider berth of tolerance with
Hmm.
the difficulty of equipped. And then as well, don't get a meat comp or a tight like suit. Get a suit that's like a size bigger or 2 sizes bigger. You just want to feel it. You want to get a bit of tension. Now I know people want everything right now, so it's harder to tell like, hey, you're gonna kind of have 6 months of mediocre training, but then it's gonna like exponentially take off. But you have to kind of dig in the trenches for a bit. And I know that's kind of tough because people, again, they want to put on the shirt and bench 700 and then call it a day. But I would accept that it's a longer journey to the fun stuff. And then if I would just say, don't get discouraged. Like it's gonna suck. Your first session is going to suck. Like that's it. You're not gonna be able to make much of it. You're gonna put it on. You're gonna go, oh my god, this feels weird. I'm claustrophobic. And then you're gonna try to squat or pick up the bar from the deadlift or press, and it's gonna feel all kinds of weird. Like just you're in the right spot. It's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be uncomfortable and confusing, but just allow yourself the room for failure. You're gonna fail. I mean, when I first started, I can't tell you how many times I blacked out under a bench shirt with the Rage X with the collar like choking you, and that's just part of it. Like it sucks, but as long as you're kind of aware of that, like everyone experienced it. You're not alone. It's not because you suck. It's because that is just the first couple steps. So, yeah, pick your favorite lift, looser gear, and I just forgot the last one.
Try not to get discouraged, I think is what
I
you
There
mean.
you
think
go.
I think if
Be
you
nice to yourself.
if you approach it the way I used to approach golfing, which was as long as I had like one nice shot, I was happy with the round. So as long as you get like one nice rep, one, something that feels good, even like a little hint of something that feels good, that can be a real encouraging thing. And I often would recommend trying to end on a good note. So if you fail something, don't just stop because you're discouraged. Try to like lighten the weight a little bit. Try to finish on a positive note. Whether that means in a shirt, just doing some boards, just to feel a little bit of the range of motion, and just end on a positive note, so that you have a good reason to come back to it.
Yeah.
I agree completely. That should be carried over to your entire equipped career. Like in my experience, if I have one good rep, I was supposed to do 3 singles, and that was the first rep. We're done. I'm gonna pack that mental file in and be like, this was a great rep. I did what I came to do, and then I'm gonna leave because especially equipped is finicky. You can have a great couple warm ups, you can have a great top set, and then your back off sets turn to shit. Like yeah, like I definitely echo Ryan's things. Leave on a high note. If that rep felt good and it clicked in your mind, take the suit off, do your back offs, move on. Like you'll have so much value with that positive training file in your memory than opposed to doing a couple extra. Then things kind of started, you get fatigued or things kind of felt a little weird, and then you're having these like then you're ruminating even further on it.
So,
Yeah.
so following off that, then when you're only in the shirt 2 or 3 sessions leading into a prep, are you going into it with no real plan? Just I'm gonna throw this on and see how it goes, and like just winging it, or what's the process with those 3 sessions you're setting yourself up for? Then what's
So the
that look
first
like?
session, the first session is basically like I'm acclimatizing back to the kit. So I'll do like 2 board, 1 board if I'm feeling like kind of spicy, and then the second session, which will just be strictly touches. Um, Now that I'm aware of what I need to touch, it's basically I have to be around 360. Like I've tried to open with 357 3 times and it squished me 3 times, so I have to open at like 8 now. It sucks, but it's what it is. So but basically, the first session is just kind of get used to the CNS. Second session is just find a touch, and then the third session, if I can get a third session, we're just trying to get touches. Like I don't really worry too much about like the top end or volume. It's just point of just trying to get, because there's been a few world preps in years back where if I got one touch and it went really good and I'm 3 weeks out, that's it. Like one rep, one session, because for me, like the mental aspect of like, oh yeah, I had that training file. That was a good rep. I can use that like visually or mentally more, and I'll as if I've trained 3 or 4 times after I just, yeah, like my equipped approach is very like kind of in my head and kind of visualizing, but yeah, at this point it's just touching. This is not how I coach. For everyone listening, I do not tell my athletes to just put on their shirt once and then go compete. That is
As I say,
not
not as I do.
yeah, like the asterisk is I've had 9 years of weekly shirted work, so we all gotta do those. We gotta do the first decade, and then we can be a little silly at this point.
Yeah, so I guess that kind of like segues really well into obviously being a coach. What are some misconceptions that you think people have about equip training or the application of equip training?
I think people think it's vastly different. Like you're using pretty much the same principles, like of training. Uh, how I approach like equip training in general, I just treat it like a skill. So the whole point is to practice the skill of equipped, and then to improve your fitness or your strength, we're doing raw work. So you're going to get lots of singles, doubles a little bit on the squats, but mostly singles on the squats and the deadlifts and the bench. Again, my how I approach it is you have to perfect the skill of a full kit rep. So like straps down or just knee wraps. You're getting value. I'd say you're getting training value more than you're getting skill value. Um, and if you're a newer equipped lifter, I think we want to spend more time on the skill of equipped rather than trying to get you strong and equipped with doing reps. So if I can give you 3 to 5 singles of like 80, 88%, so it's weight that it's very manageable, but it's a heavy enough where you have to be focused and kind of like really hone in on those reps. But it's not going to give you significant fatigue where then you're kind of carrying it forward for other sessions. So that's kind of how I approach it. Again, it's going to depend. Like the more or the newer you are to equipped, you can get away with doing like boards or knee wrap stuff because again it's all foreign to you, so just the sensations are gonna help, but you don't want to. I wouldn't stick around that area for too long. uh, like one of the reasons kind of why I've shifted to the more of the skill component is again going back to worlds in the warm-up room. I've seen Ukraine hit depth with squat suits that shouldn't be hitting depth. I same with the bench shirts. So if at the very, very highest level you can touch and hit depth, then that is something that we should be kind of mimicking throughout the entirety of the training. Of course, most of my athletes don't have crazy tight gear. Like we're all like most of my athletes are kind of beginners and novices, so we're kind of edging towards that direction. But I think it's just super important not to get really good at board work or get really good at like straps down or block pulls or something that you want to be the best you can be on the platform, and the more single like comp specific exposures that you have in full kit, I think will set you up much better. But when you have the skill component approach, you really have to manage the raw volume, because as you get better in equipped, then the fatigue is going to kind of inch up. Even if it's like a lower volume session, the weights are just going to kind of creep up. So you have to kind of be cognizant of where you're putting the raw volume throughout the training. But that's kind of my approach. Is like I treat it like kind of like javelin. Like you train in the gym to get stronger, faster, more agile, but then you're throwing the javelin as a skill. Like you're not throwing a heavier javelin or shorter javelin or a longer one or whatever. You're just practicing the skill of javelin, and then you're getting better as a athlete outside of it. So that's kind of how I've shifted my mindset towards approaching equip training like lately.
Yeah, I think
Do you
that's
think
great.
it's sorry?
How you go ahead, Bryce?
I was just gonna say, do you think it's really important if you want to be a big, very strong, very successful equip bencher to have a thick mustache?
Definitely helps. Confuses the refs. They got something else to look on your face.
I'm noticing
Especially
a
when I have
trend
my
between the
when I got
bottom
my
of the
big
screen here.
dumper floating.
Distract them with the mustache. That's good.
Yeah.
Good to know.
The secret tech.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, I think it's interesting the comparison to something like javelin, where it's because it's equipped is so skill based that I think people get caught up on trying to maybe do a little too much in it. I I didn't know you're so in tune with javelin training though, so because now I hope there's someone out there's not like, man, we threw heavy javelins all the time, like that's how we
Okay.
trained.
Then my metaphor has gone to the wind then.
Overweighted javelin practice could be a thing. So Shane, I know you enjoy good music. You and I have had more than a few chats about specifically shout out Holly Springs Disaster.
Hell yeah.
But I wanted to ask, what are your like top 3 to 5 PR songs or heavy set songs in the rotation right now? Where are you reaching to? Is
Well,
it classic millennial, like hardcore?
no,
What do we do?
um Tove Love. There's
Love?
like this Tove Love. She's got some bangers.
Hell yeah. Man of
Nickelback
culture.
is pretty bench my
Oh,
like raw bench PR.
hell yeah. That's what
And
I'm
then
about. That's what I'm
see,
here
there we
for.
go.
There
An
it
Alberta
is.
Oh
boy.
no.
And then I guess like for equipped or like heavy squats, it'd probably be like Job for a Cowboy or like August Burns
Ooh,
Red.
all right.
Those were like the ones that kind of like clicked. Mostly like when I'm training downstairs, it's like bro rock, so it's Nickelback, it's Stain, and then it's like bad immature comedy podcasts. So I don't really get too jazzed up these days.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that's good sometimes. Keep the arousal level kind of even keel in training, and you don't want to be
Definitely.
dipping into those reserves too often.
Definitely.
Absolutely broke Bryce's heart, as you said in Nickelback, though.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
crushed
sorry I didn't hide
anything
that
he had.
better.
We shouldn't say disturbed though.
He
Disturbed.
did say some other
No,
good
hey,
bands,
Disturbed
though.
sucks. We can agree with that.
Okay, thank you. All right, this episode can end.
That was the breaking point. That was what was that we would have cut the whole episode if,
I was ready to just hang
disturbed
up.
there.
Just walk away.
Bryce said,
Hey, when
Podcast
I was
off,
younger, I
guys.
listened to like heavier music consistently when I played like, in the bands. But the older I get, it just takes so much like effort and mental focus to get jazzed up with the heavy music. Just
Fair.
give me how this is how you remind me, and I'm good to go.
Oof, that is
Do you,
that's a strong one to go with.
do you listen to music when you compete, Shane?
No, I don't listen to anything. I kind of just like sit alone in my head and just again try to perpetually visualize what I'm about to do. I find music is just one extra distraction. Where's my headphones? Here's my phone. I just want like the least amount of outside variables. And like I'm a pretty chill guy. I'd rather just be busting people's balls than listening to music at that point anyway.
I have a core memory of Power Surge, whatever the hell, like 2013 maybe. And it was one of the Power Surges where people got to put in their like attempt songs ahead of time. And I remember Shane coming out to squat, and the music stopped, the song changed, and Hit Me Baby One More Time came
Oh,
on
yeah.
just as Shane was heading out onto the platform. And I was like,
Britney
oh,
Spears is my
that's
girl.
awesome. That's awesome. Because it was a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
like disturbed before that, so it was a
Yeah,
welcome break.
balances out. It's a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hey, do you want to go into the equipment check section, guys? Or we
Let's.
move on to that? So we have a section we call equipment check. We're going to go through some questions about what you wear and how you prefer your gear. We'll start quick with stock gear or custom gear, and if stock, what sizes are you wearing?
So when I competed in three lift, it was a 48 Super Centurion. The straps were taken in a bunch. The hips were taken in for me a few times, and then Sig Golds was the knee wrap I used. And then for my bench shirt, it's 48 stock, but I have taken in the sleeves countless times. Like every time I've purchased a custom product, it tends not to fit the way it should, and they're just a little too expensive to play the return game. And then for the deadlift suit, it was a 50 fusion for the deadlift. At the later career of my three lift, I had to switch to conventional, and I couldn't really hand or make the velocity or super centurion titan kind of work with the conventional. So the fusion is an excellent suit for deadlifts for both sumo and conventional, but conventional especially. So yeah, and then that suit, the straps were taken in a bit, but nothing else. The conventional suit, I needed it to be a little looser just so I can get to the bar. And at that point, my total's done. So I mean, like, what am I fighting for? 275.
Yeah, and you're gonna get mad at your coach for making you go out and lift it too.
Yeah, I know. It was bogus. Should just let me hit in the warm up room.
And then for shoes, I think something that you're seeing a lot of people get away from is benching in heeled shoes, but you're still in heeled shoes that look like they're older than most people in CanPL right now that are still competing. Why the heels?
Those are my old do-ins. The reason why
Hell
the
yeah.
the heels is I have like hyper ankle flexibility from hockey, so I can like torque my toe angle out like considerably. And when I do that, I need a heeled position to leverage my heels like pushing through the leg drive. If I have flats with that type of like toe position, my ass pops off more. So I found the heel to help a little bit in that sense. And I really just I haven't fiddled with my leg drive in like 8 years. Like it works. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference if I try a wider position or a narrower stance. Like my my lower body doesn't really budge, so it's not something I focus too much. But yeah, it's a do-in Pedley. They're like 16 years old. They're the first pair I've got. I couldn't find companies that had wooden soles, or not wooden soles, sorry, wooden heels.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of stuck with those. Again, if we're on the shoes for benching too, if you are competing, maybe bring a juice box, perhaps apple juice or orange juice. Maybe some of it, falls on the floor, and then you walk on that little puddle, and then you dampen your shoes, and then maybe like you don't want
Yeah.
to, but maybe your soles will be a little stickier and helpful for when you're on the platform. But I mean, that's something you probably maybe want to talk with your coach about. But
Especially if you're wearing
I'm
16-year-old
very
do-wins, right?
yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
one
you
thing too
need
is
the
I
extra
I
grip.
have no grip underneath. Like it's all gone.
Shiny on the bottom.
Wood.
Yeah.
I've had some unfortunate run-ins with some fruit punch monster.
It
Seems to be
happens.
a recurring nightmare. I can't dodge it.
Also,
No,
shout outs to the day of sending in foot tracings and a money order to get those shoes from
From Power Firm.
CanadaPowerliftingShoes.com or something like that.
From
So those-
Power
Oh,
from
yeah.
Winnipeg, Joe.
yeah, in Winnipeg, yeah.
Yeah, that's I ran into Joe last year at weightlifting nationals. Actually,
There you go.
I told him, I sent you our foot tracings many years ago to get a pair of shoes from you.
Probably hears that a lot now.
Yeah. He's also the first person to drug test me, so we're pretty
wow.
close.
Wow. Yeah. That is a
Real
level
familiar.
of closeness that you don't reach with most people, for sure.
So then, Shane, the shirt you're in a Super K low cut.
Yep.
And has that been your shirt of choice for that? That's been the shirt of choice for a majority of your career, right? Because you were in the purple one for 6, 7 years, and then before that was the Rage you mentioned.
Yeah, I started out with the Rage X for probably the first 3 years until I moved up to 105. I was using the Rage X. Uh, it was basically just the shirt that my training partners had and recommended. I didn't like it, but I didn't know any different, so I just sucked it up for probably 3 years. Um, I think it's helpful for flatter back benchers, but someone who's trying to get an arch, the collar always seems to kind of ride up and then push against your throat unless you're really cognizant of where it's sitting. So I've never really had too much success with it. And then I just got into the Super K when I was around 105, and then that's kind of what I stuck with. I don't think there's that big of a difference between the normal Super K and the low cut Super K. I think if you're jumping into the Super K, you might as well start with the low cut. Like I like the low cut in the sense because you have more wiggle room to bring it up and down. So even if like the that big extra collar is restricting your touch, you can just slide it up and still have plenty of room like in your throat area to breathe, as opposed to the regular Super K where the collar already sits high, so you don't really have much room to kind of like adjust to make it easier kind of thing. So I that's kind of how I like leaned into the low cut earlier on.
Yeah, definitely gives a lot more availability of play with how it's set and like how you're adjusting the collar.
Totally. I mean, you can get like from 5 to 50 kilos out of that collar if you set it right.
Hell yeah,
I'm
we got
I'm
some
gonna jump
listener
back
questions
to the Rage X for 1 second. I find it's good for
Oh yeah, yeah,
long
go.
arm lifters. So
Oh yeah.
Yes, yes, that's
I do
fair.
understand that
Okay.
I sell them, so I might be somewhat financially obligated to say that, but I do because my sister, who is a very long arm lifter, I convinced her to try it again, and yeah, she's put I think almost 10 kilos on her bench since she's gone back into it. So still not it's still not an amazing bench. I mean, she's still a very long arm lifter, but 10 kilos, 10% increase on her bench, so it can be a useful one. And they have changed the neckline since you wore it back in 2008 and 9 when they were definitely just guillotines basically.
Yeah.
But and I also found that personally I hated the low cut collar because I could never touch with it. It was always like one board and just stopped. It's one board and stopped, and then I fought with that forever until I went to a non low cut, and I found like it just gave a little, just had a little bit more give at the bottom, and like I never didn't wear my collar low like you guys would, but I found that extra stretch that I got out of the non low cut just gave me that touch that I couldn't seem to get consistently with the low cut.
Yeah, the last quarter board in the low cut is lives in my head rent free. That keeps me up at night sometimes. Where it's like, oh, I didn't touch for the 9th week in a row because I couldn't.
Yeah, that's no man's land.
Yeah,
The centimeter
yeah,
above your chest is your sleep paralysis.
yeah. Unfortunately, that's what keeps me up at night. That and yeah, no, just that.
All right, we got a few listener questions. I threw it on Instagram earlier. First one, obviously, first we'll say, rip to the shirt, but are purple shirts superior to other shirts?
I mean, in my experience, yeah. Like, I mean, statistically, I've gotten the most PRs in that purple shirt. I don't know if that purple, like, coloring strengthens the fabric or if it's some placebo kind of purple energizes from the lights or something. Who knows? But I mean, it's a fair question, and I have a lot of data to say I guess purples are the best. I mean, so does Garrett. You've had some killer purple sessions, so if you can get a purple low cut K, it's probably the best shirt for you.
You heard it here first.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, so why do you choose to do both equipped and raw at Bench Worlds instead of just picking one and like really focusing? Why both?
Um, because I think I think it's very expensive to travel the world for 3 bench presses. So if I can get 6 presses in, then it kind of justifies it a little bit. But I guess like more seriously, like I focus more on classic right now because it's better for my business. I get more like branding and notoriety for it. But in terms of competing in like at Worlds, I never really thought I was going to be competitive raw. Like starting, like I've only been competitive raw for like maybe 4 years out of the 15 years I've been around. So having the ability to be on a classic team is something I really take like seriously. So like that keeps me going. And then equipped is just my first love. Um, equipped, I'm a little more okay with having crappier days. So if I have the access to compete twice, like at a world event, I can mitigate if I have a good day raw. Then if I have a bad day equipped, it's not like a complete. I don't ruminate for months about that failure kind of thing. And I just like both. Like I think both are super cool. Equipped is better, but both are neat. Um, and like right now, I'm just really like kind of obsessed with trying to chase that 600 raw press. I think like I have to shift some of my focus from equipped to the raw to make that happen. And right now, with my competitiveness equipped and the less demanding training that I'm allowed to train and still get like a positive outcome, it kind of lets me kind of be a little selfish with raw while still having the access to equipped. But yeah, it kind of just comes like it's a lot of money to travel and like 50 seconds of effort is because it kind of hurts. It hurts justifying the bank account.
I mean, if you can do 2 worlds, is that
And
not
that's just
better
it.
than one?
Like again, like I'm 37, so like I'm on borrowed time in competitive powerlifting world. So the more opportunities that I can do it right now,
Feel
the
targeted.
better.
That doesn't make me feel good.
Come on, man, we're closer to M1 than we are the juniors.
I'm still trying to fight the good fight.
Yeah. Something with a dying light. I don't know.
Oh God, I know.
Uh,
Okay. On that low
This isn't the
note.
Equipped Young and Spry podcast.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, that's one perk about equipped is you can be competitive for much longer in your age. Like you see now with Raw, where people they get maybe 1 or 2 years of like really competitive, and then they're fighting for like the fourths and thirds for several years. Like like equipped, you have such a longer runway to get better and stronger through a much longer time period. So like that definitely kind of keeps you motivated. Like again, like I got a 5 kilo PR from my equipped bench at nationals. Uh, and that's, I mean, the 5 kilos is just huge, and it's still like motivating. Like getting 5 kilos, I think raw is takes could could never happen. So I think that also gives you a little more motivation and willingness to stick in the game. And like equip worlds too, you'll see more like 30-plus-year-olds rather than like classic worlds where it's more like the early 20s that are kind of taking it right now. So the equipped crowd is more my crowd because it's my age group. So,
I feel that. I
but
feel that.
yeah.
All right. More questions from listeners. Any shirt or suit sizing considerations for longer limbed lifters?
Good question. So I would consider a wide or a bigger chest plate because the distance your arms have to go to touch is going to be a lot longer than myself. So that chest plate is going to have to compress further into you to get that touch. So if you start with a like tighter or a meat fit uh, size shirt and you're a longer limb athlete, you may get jammed up like Ryan was talking about around that one board range, and you kind of just get frustrated. So I would look at a bigger chest plate, but then to maximize your long limbed bench would just be taking the sleeves like pretty frequently. So once you get a good touch, take it in again. And then once you get another good touch, take it in again. And you'll see your equipped bench kind of continue to climb, even if you have what feels like a looser shirt. Like you can manipulate the collar and the sleeves, but you really can't do much with a chest plate. If the chest plate is too tight, you're kind of SOL. So allow yourself to have maybe a little bigger of a chest plate, and then work at tightening the sleeves, and that'll probably be your best bang. And also probably lots of two board work, whether it's raw or equipped, because you're just going to have so much more distance. Those lockouts are going to be harder to attain. So as much as I don't like typically the program boards, longer limb benchers, all of my longer limb benchers get boards. Like you have to get that extra volume at the top end without having the fatigue of a touch.
Makes sense.
I think we kind of covered this already. The secret of benching in a shirt only 3 times before competition sounds like it's mostly just...
Yeah, 9 years of pre-experience.
Yeah.
You live 3 hours away from everybody. Again, I would never encourage people to do it. It's just like I feel very confident in my skill as an equipped lifter, so I allow myself a little more lax. But again, this was not the case. There were many years where I would get crushed in equipped training, constantly missing, failing, getting injured. So I've experienced that whole gamut of the pain and joy of equipped training, and now I'm just kind of on like the retirement years of my equipped, where I just hop in it and it still goes well.
So you mentioned that equipped is your first love, I think, in the sport. And I'm going to ask the first question of the podcast that should have been asked about an hour and 20 minutes ago. How did you get into lifting, Shane?
Well, I got into lifting because I lost a push-up contest with one of my buddies, Tyler. Shout out to Tyler. He's an accountant in town. He's one of my buddies from high school. He was a power lifter. I was a CrossFitter. We were drinking, and we had a push-up contest, and he crushed me, and I was a 160-pound CrossFitter, and that crushed my ego. So I was like, this is nonsense. How dare you beat me in reps? So then he took me to the gym, and then I got introduced to Kane, another a friend and a very old equipped lifter back in the day. They basically trained me, and equipped was the only thing that was powerlifting. So my first exposure to equipped was pretty quick. I think I did one meet after 3 months of training, and then the meet after that I was in kit immediately after. So it was pretty much, I lost the push-up contest when I was drunk, and here I am.
Hell yeah.
It's worked
good
out
origin
pretty
story.
well.
You can just edit that to the beginning, Ryan.
Yeah, I'll definitely clip that out and just throw that back there.
Yeah.
Could you beat Tyler now in a push-up contest, do you think?
Probably not. Now I'm too fat. It just, it's,
I think that's an advantage though.
Minimal
Because
range
your
of motion.
stomach's going to hit the ground before you bend your arms.
it's true.
You're not going very far. It's like a 3-board push-up.
Yeah, well, even 3-board push-ups kind of hard. Yeah, no, I was lucky. Like all through my equipped career, when I had a good club, Medicine Hat, introduced me, and then I went up to Edmonton, to the University of Alberta, and that was like the Hector, John Stewart, Anthony Burden era, and that was really cool. I was always lucky to be surrounded by very strong equipped lifters, and that kind of, I think, really accelerated my interest and my involvement in the sport. It's like you're around people that are like, especially when I first came to university, like I was squatting like 400 pounds, and everyone else was squatting like 700, and that was when like 700 was like an absolute rarity. So you're just like, holy shit, like this is the coolest thing ever, and that definitely kind of kept me going. Like, yeah, like I had the only option for powerlifting was equipped, so I didn't even think raw was a thing. Raw was training, and like then you get into kit to improve and then compete. Like it was never like, oh, you're just gonna put on your singlet and lift. But I mean, here we are. Like,
Yeah. All right, I think we can hop into some of our common questions we kind of ask everybody. It's kind of not really a lightning round, but we'll kind of keep them pretty quick here. So, what is the highlight of your lifting career so far?
well, it has to be the world champion title in 2023. Like winning the equipped bench. That was, I mean, I coming in, I didn't think I was going to win at all. I was again, hoping just for a podium, but then things worked out, and yeah, that's definitely the absolute highlight is being able to say like I'm an IPF world champion. Like that's it's pretty cool.
Also, the
Big deal.
first Canadian open male to win an equipped bench worlds.
Yeah, that's a good little feather I like to tell people.
That is a
I'm
good
not.
one.
I don't have the heaviest bench anymore. You know, I gotta have some asterisk to my name.
I think that's a really good one to have.
I think one thing that I got told by Blaine Sumner is that records can be taken away from you, but titles can't. So
Mm-hmm.
you'll always be
Yeah.
the 2023 world champion.
Absolutely.
So, following off of that, what is the lowest point of your lifting career so far, and what did you learn from it?
uh, well, like I was very, very demotivated in COVID. That was kind of but that's probably more general for everyone. I think my lowest was after 2017 nationals. I had was it 2017? No, it's my 2017 nationals. I had a great meet, and then I decided to do an Olympic weightlifting meet, and then I screwed up my knee for 3 years, and I basically invariably ended my through the powerlifting career because I did a foolish Olympic lifting meet right after I competed. So that's definitely my low because that basically like ruined my three because of a stupid little side quest kind of thing.
What did you learn from that?
I learned
Other
that
than don't do that.
like if you want to be really good at something, just focus on that. Do like plan more properly your time away from like hyper athletics. Like I was competing like hard and training hard and then jumped right in. And I that was just it was stupid. Like I was handling weights that I was strong enough to handle but not technically sound enough to do so. And then I just like injured myself. So just like if you want to do side quests, definitely do them, but like include them in your calendar or plan more accordingly. Uh, yeah, and like I mean, if you want to get really good in this sport, you have to do it year round though. So that's one thing you got to keep consider, especially again now with the competitive nature of the sport. Like there is no like, oh, I'm gonna take 3 months off and like kayak. It's like no, like everyone underneath you are fighting for those kilos to get above you. So you have to really kind of like dial in at like longer periods of time. So if you want to do foolish things, you know, kind of weigh them a little more properly.
Fair. Who have been some of your biggest inspirations along the way? It doesn't have to be powerlifters either, but like who's inspired you?
Oh, seeing old Brian Cider videos really like
Hell yeah.
woke me up to like, holy shit, like you can move weight that fast. Like that's so cool. And then like CYC, I mean, he was like my private idol for years. Like he was just such a polished lifter and so incredibly strong. And like he made like equipped look like art. Like it was super cool. So I'd say that, and then like Blaine kind of like later in when he started putting up the crazy numbers. Uh, but yeah, like maybe like Hector early on, like he was really like helpful for me to when I moved to Edmonton and kind of showed me the ropes of how the sport works, like how the club operates, and just like he was like it was a good crew. So yeah, probably those. But yeah, I just remember like seeing Cider bench 800, and I was like, right, just I had no idea what powerlifting was. I was like, hold on, I was like, what the hell? Like, how are you moving that so quick?
So fast. Yeah.
Yeah,
So fast.
dude's sick.
Yeah.
So, what's one piece of advice you wish you could give yourself back when you were starting out?
If if you want to succeed, like give it your all. Don't half-ass it. Like the first like 5 years I was powerlifting, it was basically just a meetup before we went to the bar. So it wasn't like a super like dedicated thing. And I burnt probably 3 years of progress, really just using it as like an excuse to kind of hang out. So like my advice would be, if you are approaching powerlifting as a hobby, then keep it a hobby. If you want to go far in powerlifting, then you take it seriously as early as you can, so then you can maximize your progress. Now the caveat with that statement is like, if you're under 20, do things, live, like don't get hyper focused. That's too young. But if you're university and you're seeing like, I want to place at nationals, or I want to go to worlds, like take it seriously earlier on, and you'll be able to have a better experience. But you also have to accept that there's going to be sacrifices that come like with all that focus.
So, what's been your closest call while lifting equipped?
Like almost dying kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
when
that was
Garrett and I
definitely Japan.
yeah.
That was Japan in 2019. We went from 295 to 345, and
345, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
and
nice
then
job.
we cranked the shirt too much, and like the bar just kind of like slid out, and it just like slammed in. So the safeties were set correctly, which is something everyone should be doing 100% of the time. And that was my closest call, because that bar just went down. Like if the safeties weren't there, I wouldn't be here. Like I would literally have been like decapitated, because it was not like a grind. It was just fell out of groove and then it was done. So that was closest. I had one close call in my garage in Edmonton. I was doing like a set of close grip, and the last rep I just couldn't get out, and the safeties were like set to my 105 kilo self, not my 120. So I was pretty much squished under, and I had to like shimmy before I passed out under it. But that was
The
I think
old
we all
roller
have.
thing.
Telltale.
Yeah. Do you have one raw lifter you'd love to see in equipment?
Oh, like just in Canada kind of thing?
In general?
In general? Well, like internationally, I think Keiko would be a good candidate for like a really good equip lifter. Like he's stout and very, very strong. I think he could do a lot of cool things. In Canada, um, I think I'd like to see Lucas. I think Lucas is just freakishly strong raw, and he could be doing like 10, 50, maybe 11 if he like honed in on it. But granted, I mean, he just got his world spot, and like God bless, good luck. But I think he'd be really cool, because he's got an interesting build, and he's just like very, very strong raw. Like he could be putting up some crazy squats.
Yeah, we were given the gears in China about that too. We kept telling all these you're gonna hit like you could easily total 1100, like no problem.
Yeah.
Like
Easy.
I had the same conversation with Kwaku after that.
Kwaku's another one. Yeah, he could put up some mean totals.
all right, and last up is, do you have any concrete goals that you're aiming for right now?
My only goal right now is to try 600 raw, but I'm kind of on a timeline too. Like this is my 4-year anniversary of being fat was this month, and it's starting to kind of just be hard to exist at like 300. So my goal is to at least attempt 600 raw this year, and then lose weight and try to be a human again. But that's pretty much my only goal. Like luckily I've hit pretty much everything I wanted to hit. Like I've been able to coach at the world level. I won a title. I've been able to bench 800. All of the ghosts that I chased throughout my career, I beat. Like I took Abby's record. I took John Giffen's record. So just people that I've been kind of pursuing quietly, like I kind of hit all of those markers, but it's really just like 600 raw is like the next big goal. And then if that goes well, and if I'm still willing to stay fat, then maybe I'll join Garrett and we'll put 400 on the bar.
It's a
But I'll
race.
probably get a tighter shirt.
A tighter shirt probably helps.
Or he's got to be
Yeah.
140 kilos then.
Yep.
Yeah. I only have one pair of pants that fits at this point.
The pants are cheaper than the shirts, man.
Yes,
True.
and you can buy stretchy pants.
That's all my pants.
That's the secret sauce, stretchy pants.
Yeah.
Right on.
Cool. Great. I think that covers all the questions that we had lined up for you. Thank you, Shane. It's a good conversation and lots of information, I think, for everybody. So thanks for sharing your time with us and knowledge, and really appreciate you coming on the podcast.
One more thing.
Sorry.
Where can people find you, Shane?
Oh, yeah.
Where can people find out more about you and what you do?
So you can reach me at Instagram at smartlifts or www.smartlifts.info. That's my coaching website. In general, if you just have some throwaway questions, DM me at any time. Happy to help. But if you're interested in coaching, you can reach out to me through those avenues. Yeah. Again, thanks for having me. It's always fun to talk equipped and reminisce. It's a good Thursday.
Yeah. Thanks for
It's a very
being
nice
our
Thursday.
guest here and being our friend.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, Shane. Thanks so much. Do we need to do like an outro?
Sure. This one's on Garrett.
No,
All right, Garrett.
Ryan did it
Oh.
last time.
Fine.
We need continuity.
Well, you could. The continuity is that it changes every week.
The continuity king.
No, I like same.
But more of this is that I have to edit it. That's great. All right. Thanks, Shane, for joining us this week. Lots of information there, I think, for new and experienced lifters. A wealth of knowledge, being in the sport for 16 years, being a coach for many of those years too. So he's done a lot in the sport. Also, a referee at the highest level. So he
I
knows
think I mentioned that he
everything.
was the equipped open world coach. In our,
Yeah,
in our
also
little
that.
intro. I didn't give him his flowers for that.
That's okay. This is the outro now, Bryce. So
I know.
you've interrupted the outro with the intro. That's fine. We'll
just
just roll
tying it
with it.
together.
We'll just
Zero
roll.
continuity. Zero continuity. It's all gone.
No one knows how we record these things. So, thanks, Shane, for coming and joining us. And yeah, I think it was a good episode. I think it's good information, and we hope you all got something out of it. And join us again in a couple weeks for our next episode.
Yep. Keep sending some good questions in.
Yeah. I'll try to be better about putting my question up a little bit earlier instead of so last minute. But
And I will
Yeah.
try to post some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get Bryce to share it as well.
any questions or any requests for guests, just let us know, and we'll keep them in our list. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again in 2 weeks.
Talk at you.
Talk at you.
into the void.
Talk into the blackness that is the void.
Mhm.
All right.
Nailed it, guys. Nailed it.
100%.
Oh, I hate this.
Why?
That was a 10 out of 10. We're getting better.
Yeah, I think we're doing good.